What can be the reason that a person who earlier believed in you and had a lot of faith has recently started talking about you as an agent of negative forces, devil, who is trying to steal souls? I was very happy when Great Master stole my soul. Some stealing seemed to be good. The reason is simple. The mind is a negative entity sitting in us. Mind does not want to go inwards. Mind wants to go outward. If somebody develops a faith temporarily and tries to convince the mind, no, there is something in it, we'll get. And Masters gives incentives for that. Oh, it's wonderful, loving, blessed, all thing is inside, go inside. Mind says, okay. For a moment it can be convinced. Then the mind feels it is being pulled away, the attention is being pulled away from the mind itself. It reacts and becomes a negative agent there and then. This can happen many times. That's how doubts are created. People have faith, everything is going fine. And you ask those people, how did your faith come in your master? Everything went well, my life changed. I didn't have a job, I got a job. I didn't have a proper place to live, I got a house, I got this thing. Everything went very well. I said, very good. Then one day, my son died in an accident. How can there be a master? How could he not save my son? He is no master. 99 things happened wonderful. And one happened the mind doesn't accept as a good thing. Therefore, all 99 are washed away. That's how the mind functions. The mind does not take the whole thing that this is a whole picture of ups and downs. We are here in a roller coaster. Human life is a roller coaster. Supposing it was not a roller coaster, supposing all our karma was good, we wouldn't be here. We'd be in heaven. They're wonderful places to be in if all karma is good. Supposing all our karma was bad, we wouldn't be here. We'd be in hell. There are places already existing in the astral plane, sub-astral plane, overlap of the plane. They exist. If everything is bad, we go there. If everything is good, we go somewhere else. Not here. We come into human life on physical plane when we have a mixture of good and bad karma. I have to understand this. It's the very nature of creation. So that is why everybody's life has ups and downs. I have not met a person who says all my life was great glory, has ups and downs, or all the life was miserable and never had a good time. But there are two types of factors which make this life ups and downs. Some are visible, like richness, poverty, good health, bad health. These are easily seen differences that some look good, some look bad. There are others which are intangible. For example, the richest people I have met, multi-millionaires, billionaires, whom we see on the movie screen and we say, wow, they must be very happy. They are the most unhappy people I have met. They have been compensated one way, that externally they have a lot of wealth. Internally they have no happiness because they have problems with their emotions, with the people. They have had divorce after divorce. They can't find a suitable partner. They can't trust anybody. They are afraid of the press. They are running from them. They are insecure. The insecurity is killing them. And no amount of money can take away their insecurity. Actually, I did a little course at Harvard University because I used to bother and tease my economics professor. Economics professor was teaching us that if something you keep on having their diminishing returns, I said, does it also apply to love? Love? I haven't studied that part. In economics, we don't study love. I said, but love is part of life. If something is applicable, you are making universal declarations, you should study love. You should study if it diminishes or increases with time. So then I asked for a course to be done to see what makes people happy and unhappy as economics course. I wrote an economics paper on that. He gave me the permission. So I took out the telephone book of the greater Boston area and I picked out randomly 1,000 names. And I sent out a questionnaire which I prepared. It's a very simple questionnaire. What makes you happy? Please list the reasons why, what makes you happy. On the other side of the page, write the list of things that make you unhappy. It was a simple question. Almost all the answers were very similar. If we have a lot of money, if we have a good house, a good car, good family, good children, we have all the good things, we are happy. Reverse, if we are poor, don't have any of these things, we have naughty children, we have an unfaithful wife, then we are unhappy. Same kind of reasons most people gave. I said one of the reasons they gave, if we have money, we are happy. Let's examine that. There was an ex-professor of Harvard University who had gone back to business. This was common in Harvard Business School, that many faculty members were from business. They would come serve on the university and go back to business. This man had been a faculty member in the business school and now was running a big business, and his known assets, publicly known assets, were over $10 million. I said, he's rich. By those standards, he was rich. So I asked him for interview. I interviewed him in his office. I said, you have written, let's take only one item, money. You said money makes one happy. You have a lot of money. Are you happy? He said, not at all. I said, why did you write this? He said, I gave a general answer. It doesn't apply to me. I said, why doesn't it apply to you? He says, I'll tell you why. I went to the same school where you are studying. I went to Harvard Business School. I spent years studying. I graduated. I got a doctoral thesis, doctoral degree. I'm a doctor from that university. Spent my whole life studying to become a successful businessman. And that is why I made my 10 million. And look at that bloke next door to me. Never went to any college and he has 20 million. How can I be happy? He had transferred his happiness to his neighbor. I'm just giving you one example. I'm telling you that now, how could you discover his unhappiness? He's happy because he got money, but he's unhappy because the neighbor has more. These intangible things are many, and there are a lot of them are emotional sides which are hidden. People can't see them. And when you study their lives, you find if you were to give some weightage to the tangible things and weightage to the intangible things and study the human race as a whole, you'll be surprised that they are very well balanced. They are all equal in one way or the other. One has got more of this, less of this, more of that, less of this. It's a very interesting fact that this is the roller coaster has been set up for human life. And we all have some highs and some lows. Sometimes we think they must be high all the time. They are not. So it's just by study of human being that we discover. So in this kind of life, our relationship starts with the mind, even with the master. We have to convince ourselves. Why do masters become teachers? They don't need to. They have come to love us, pick us up, take us home. Why should they teach meditation? Because our mind wants it. Why do they work hard? Do more meditation. Why? Mind wants it. Mind says you can't get anything without effort. And internally also we must have a lot of effort put in. And it cannot recognize that the pull of love can be stronger than effort. Mind never accepts it. Intuition accepts it. Mind does not. So therefore, they become teachers, they become friends, they become like us, they encourage us like ordinary beings for our minds. And when one bad thing happens in life, we forget the good because that's what the mind is. And we can lose faith. But masters have a way of dealing with that also. They also know our spiritual journey has the same ups and downs like the rest of life. Even meditation. People who meditate regularly, they know some days meditation is very good. They feel very high. Next day you can't meditate, you can't concentrate your attention at all. So there is a sine curve up and down that runs life and also runs our spiritual growth. In spirituality, we also go like that. In terms of happiness, we also go up and down. Is one difference. If you are on a spiritual path and practicing your meditation, there's an axis on which the ups and downs go. It's called a sine curve because it goes up and then goes down below the axis. Comes up above the axis, goes down below the axis. Even when you are very successful in meditation, the ups and downs still go. But the axis gets shifted up like this. So the better is better than the previous better, the worse is less worse than the previous worse. That's how it works. So that you can notice actually. In meditation you will notice that the axis will also operate with a higher lifted axis, and your normal life will also follow that pattern. That you'll get more happiness than previous high happiness and less bad times than the previous bad times. So this is just a control, but the world is made with ups and downs. That is why we are here. It's very lucky that we are here. We should not say that why not be in heaven then? In heaven, you have no free will. In hell, you have no free will. In astral plane, you have no free will. In causal plane, you have no free will. In the form of a dog or a cat, no free will. Form of a tree or a plant or an insect, no free will. Birds, no free will. Just running according to a program through instincts. That's how all life runs. Instinctively, everything is programmed. It's amazing. I have a video of a fish. It's a Japanese fish. In the Japanese shallow sea, they have sand, a lot of sand. This fish with its fins works on that and makes different patterns. And some photographers took underground cameras and watched the fish working for 7 days. In 7 days, the fish created perfect circles, perfect designs, and you'll be amazed with the perfection with which are created. A fish has no brains. Fish couldn't see anything from the top like we could see, yet it designed that. When I was young, I studied beehives. The bees bake. In a beehive, they make small little apertures. That's how the hive is made. Each one is octagonal, 8 sides. As you may or may not know, each side is equal to the 4th degree of a centimeter. And they have no measuring tools. And how do the bees make them? How the drones make them? The bees have in the hive only one queen bee and thousands of drones. The bigger the hive, the more drones. Queen is only one. Queen is in the center. Queen bee. If you watch, I spend a lot of time watching the hives working. The queen bee is in the center. You can always know where the queen bee is because no drone is facing its back to the queen. We don't learn that respect for a queen like the bees have learned. And when they have to move in the hive, the drones withdraw before they fly off. They never turn around and fly. They give so much respect to the queen. Never went to school or college to learn these things, these bees. Look at other animals, how they are programmed to do these things, very skillful things. Birds are flying in the sky. You must have sometime noticed that the bird fly making like two wings at an angle. And the leading bird is flying, followed by the other bird in 2 wings. The distance of these next birds are exactly correct to be pushed by the vacuum created by the top one. Each one is getting the benefit, the push. You might also have noticed that out of the 2 wings in which the bird fly, one is longer than the other. There are 2 or 3 or 4 birds extra in one line. And these bird watchers have found out. What are they for? Why is one line longer? It is when one of the birds, any bird, falls sick and falls to the ground or on a tree, the ones at the end, they are the rescue birds, they come down to help them. The remaining ones keep on. Who gave them that intelligence? Which books did they study to do all that? All life forms, from bacteria to angels and gods who might be created and running the universes, no free will, only program. Out of 8.4 million species of life forms, only one has been given what is called free will, the choice to make amongst alternative options, human being. And because of this, ups and downs are there, so we can make a choice. If all was one way, we wouldn't make a choice. Therefore, the choices that we make bring in us something that we can make a choice with our mind. We can make a choice with our hands. We can make a choice with our soul. Seeking the truth is a choice made by the soul. This choice making would not be there if we didn't have the experience of free will. Question asked is free will real? If it is real, there's a little problem there. Because we think we all worship God, and God knows everything. If we have free will, God doesn't know anything. Because if He knows what we are going to decide, it's not free will. If He already knows, God already knows what we are going to decide, we have no free will. Then if there is no free will, why law of karma? Why should we be punished and rewarded if there is no free will, real free will? It only looks like free will. This is a very significant point on the spiritual path. Without the experience of free will, we would not be seekers and have experience of seeking. The whole thing is pre-planned, pre-written, predetermined, but it has to experience as if it is happening with free will now. How has it been created? Very simple. Make you ignorant of the future. Free will comes. Tomorrow you know your future. If you know you're 5 minutes ahead, you lose your free will. You will know what will happen. And that's what happens in the astral and causal planes. You know exactly what's going to happen. Somebody asked me, is it true that in the astral plane, if we really meditate hard and put our attention, forget this world, we can see tomorrow? I said, yes, you can do. He said, I'm going to try tonight because tomorrow lottery is coming. I'll be able to see the number. Which number is going to win? And I buy that ticket and I put that number. So he went in and he was very keen. And he said, nothing more I want to see, just the number of the winning lottery tomorrow. And tomorrow was shown up and he saw the number of the winning lottery. And he got out of meditation. Already the number is forgotten. I knew it, I saw it, I remember there were 3 and 6 were there, I remember. Next day lottery came, 3 and 6 were there. Other number, he said, I remember, this is what I saw. Too late. Why did this happen? If he'd already seen it, because the memory that is held at that level is different from the memory we hold here. You cannot transfer that experience in toto here, but you can partially. Little bit of it can be carried forward. Just like the dream sequences, they disappear when we wake up. Similarly, these experiences come back to the reality when we make the physical reality, and that becomes something we have seen, maybe dream-like. Some people are very unsure if they have astral experiences or if they have dreams. They ask me, what's a dream or is it a real astral experience? Because even astral experiences, when you come back into physical body, look like a dream. Because this is our reality, then that becomes unreal. When you are there, that's real. When you come back to this body to examine what you had earlier, that looks like a dream. So the signs of an astral experience and the physical, to remember what you can remember the physical, some very strong experiences in the astral plane we retain here. And we can't forget. Supposing we find in the astral plane that we are a very different person and we're living somewhere very far, which we have no idea now. It had a big impact on us in the meditation, the astral plane, and we come back to physical, we may remember that part. Or some Just like a dream, we have a traumatic dream and we remember some parts of traumatic dream. And some parts which are good parts in the dreams, they look so real that even when you wake up, you are feeling sorry why you woken up. It had happened with me. I bought a lottery ticket in a dream and I won $5 billion. They said cash or check. I said cash. I want to see what $5 million looks like. So they gathered all the cash, and as they were going to hand over, I woke up. I tried very hard to go back to sleep. I said, at least let me collect it, then I can wake up. Now, at this time it looked silly. At that time it looked like a good decision. At least see it once. The dreams at the lower level of consciousness of wakeful state are generally in monocolor. Color of the skin, flesh colored, dark or light. Most of them are very monocolor. Or they have more colors of the red side of the spectrum. And they have some orange, but rarely blue. When somebody has a dream of a blue sky, see clearly, yellow flower growing in a blue sky, it could very well be an astral experience. We have these experiences all the time. So certain colors occur in the experiences we have because we can go into an astral state. If we are meditating regularly, we go regularly into that state, but when you come back, we can't distinguish was it a dream or was it real. I'm telling for those people who can't determine that there is a very big difference in the colors that appear. And somehow you will understand this better when you find in the causal plane, the colors are created there and play a very important role in the creation of objects and experiences in lower levels. And colors have personality and color can take on a soul. That means colors are personality there like we have personalities here in the causal plane. It's a very different kind of experience. So those are, they manifest very differently at different levels. So mostly if they are very bright colors or they are colors which are unusual, we have never seen them here. They generally belong to the astral plane. I did an exercise with you and I said, imagine that you have flowers. And many of you saw flowers which you had never seen in this world at all. You were not trying to imagine those flowers because then you would have seen. What you tried to imagine was replaced by something that was different. I sometimes, at the end of a program, give an offer with my great master's permission. I give an offer that if you want to use your astral body right now to pick up an astral gift, great master will place those gifts on top of the roof and you go and pick it up with your astral body, not with your physical. And all you have to do is to imagine that you are going up. And people go up. And they pick up, many of them, in fact more than half of the people actually pick up gifts. And those gifts are totally different from what they can imagine. But many of them imagine those things like crystals sending out light or things, flowers emitting colorful lights, which don't exist here at all. How do they get those? They're all astral gifts. Astral is not somewhere else. It's right where we are. Everything is right where we are. It's a complete overlap. We are just moving our attention from one type of experience to another type. We don't have to go anywhere to go to another plane. The plane is here. And we can slip into it, especially when we're doing meditation regularly, can slip into, people have had glimpses of the soul. People have had glimpses of the causal plane, very short glimpse, while they were in the beginning of meditation. So, and very often, masters give that kind of a sampling. People come to the master, they get a very good nice glimpse, and then they can't get it. I remember there's a colleague of mine, friend of mine, I worked in business with him. And when I came in the beginning, I attended some seminars where they invited me called Spiritual Frontier Fellowship or some names like that. They invited me and I would go and give some talks or hold some seminars. And one of the person who became my colleague later, he said, can't we just have one glimpse of what the world looks like from heaven? I said, of course one can. I'll request Great Master, give him a glimpse. What's the big deal? And he sat in some meditation and he felt he flew away and he saw the earth planet and he saw the buildings, he saw everything. And he came and said, this is so easy. I said, yes, it is easy. It's a matter of putting attention somewhere. Okay, I can do it any time. For 20 years he's been begging, let me have that again. What happened? It was just a glimpse given out of grace. But the usefulness of that glimpse is you are firmly established there is something more than what we can see here. And that's the benefit. It's a big benefit that you come to know there is something else. And I saw it myself. I know it's hard to get. I don't know, this struggle is not giving me. But I know there's something that establishes a certain element of faith which does not go away easily. Because it's experiential. It's your own experience. It's not based on somebody else telling you what to believe. So that is why these kind of things happen. In many cases, masters do that. And it's a good thing. But to know that you can be in an astral plane and have an astral, the colors can be a good indication. And things that are not existing here, you can see them in astral plane, but they are more attractive. They are slightly different from what you see here. And if you do practice regularly, then you, on volition, on your own, you can become there. You can go there by withdrawing attention at any time. It's best to do enough meditation. Even if you have to do a lot more meditation. I remember when I had doubts about meditation and effectiveness, I did try for a very long period, 8 hours at sometimes, at a stretch. But I then later on find that it is not the meditation itself. There has to be something else pulling us besides the meditation. And then I found out what it is called, grace. Grace of the Master. So both work together. And in the beginning, when you are trying hard, the Master knows that this is the time your mind has to work hard. It has to convince itself that there is something and makes you work hard. And when you work hard, it is its grace also flowing which gives you those experiences. So in the beginning, you have to have that. But once the experience comes, it is like faith-building experience. And then it sticks with you. Many other doubts can come up about life and why this bad thing happened, why not good things happen, all good things happen, I've got a master. All questions keep on coming. But then you find with more meditation, with more grace, what is the role of effort and grace? This question has been asked many times. In the beginning, effort is everything because you can't see grace at all. As you move on, you find your effort is not yielding what is otherwise coming to you. And you say, that's grace. I couldn't do it. I tried. It didn't do it. But now it's working. More grace. Then more and more grace, less and less effort. At the end, all grace, no effort. And then you look back and say, in the beginning was effort, and now it is all grace. You discover it was all grace right from the beginning. It was grace that you got the desire to make effort. It was grace that made you do meditation. It was grace all the time. It looked like effort to start with and become pure grace without effort at the end. It's still all grace. This is a very big role that the perfect living masters perform for their disciples. They have to take them back home, no matter what. So these are some of the experiences we go through on the journey back to our true home, which is all within ourselves. It's just opening up the doors and finding out what is there. I must go back to the question in my hand. This was about a person losing faith after having faith, and explained it to you.